Good morning, children. This is your Savarna teacher. Before entering into the content, let's recapitulate the previous class. What we have discussed: effect of temperature on change of state. First of all, take beaker filled with small ice cubes. Insert a thermometer into the cubes. Observe the thermometer reading. Now put the beaker with ice cubes on a burner with the help of a tripod stand and start heating the beaker. Then the ice cubes start melting. Observe the changes in thermometer reading for every minute until all the ice melt. In this activity, we observe that the temperature of mixture of solid ice and liquid water does not change for temperature. It changes only when it reaches specific temperature. The temperature starts changing only when ice completely melts. Finally, we learn that at a certain temperature, the solid melt and changes into liquid. Already in last previous classes we discussed, but in this video we are going to discuss some definition of fusion. Next, effect of temperature, effect of change of pressure, boiling point, melting point and evaporation, effect of surface area, humidity and wind speed on evaporation. So first of all, the temperature at which a solid melt to become a liquid is called melting point. First of all, the definition is melting point. The temperature at which a solid melt. Here solid is a ice cubes. Solid ice cube melts to become a liquid. Liquid means water is called a melting point. The process of changing a solid to liquid is known as fusion. Is known as fusion. Fusion means melting. The next slide, the effect of temperature on change of state. On change of state means liquid to gas. First of all, in this activity we are taking a beaker and pour some water in it. Place it on the burner with the help of tripod stand. Measure the temperature of water with the help of thermometer and note down the readings for every 2 minutes. Observe that the temperature of the water increases continuously till it reaches 100 degrees Celsius. In this activity, we observe that the water boils to steam when the temperature reaches 100 degrees Celsius. This shows that the particles in water vapor at 100 degrees Celsius have more energy than the particles in liquid water at the same temperature. Finally, we learn that at a certain temperature, the particles have enough to become free from the forces of attraction among the particles and the liquid start changing into gas. The temperature at which a liquid start boiling at the temperature is known as its boiling. You know, children, in previous classes, in 6th class and 7th class also, we know this type of phenomena. So, liquid starts boiling at temperature is known as its boiling. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. So, once I will repeat the once boiling point. Definition: the temperature at which a liquid starts boiling at the atmospheric pressure is known as its boiling point. So, the boiling point, the temperature at which the vapor pressure of liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. So, here boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. You know, children, what is the melting point of ice? Melting point of 0 degrees Celsius and water boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius. So, particles in water vapor at 100 degrees Celsius have more energy than the particles in liquid water at the same temperature. This is because particles in water vapor have absorbed additional energy in the form of latent heat of vaporization. So let's go some important definition of latent heat of fusion, latent heat of vaporization and expansion of water. So first of all, latent heat of fusion. Heat required to convert 1 gram of solid means ice completely into liquid at a constant temperature is called latent heat of fusion. So, heat required to convert 1 gram of solid means ice completely into liquid at a constant temperature is called latent heat of fusion. Consider a solid of mass m which converts from the solid phase to liquid phase when heat Q is applied to it. The heat required to convert 1 gram of solid into liquid is Q by m. So, latent heat of fusion formula L equal to Q by m. Q by m. Q means heat, m means mass. Next. So, we can infer that one state of matter can be changed into another state by observing or giving out heat energy. So, one state of matter changing into another state by observing or giving out heat energy. Now, we have learned that substances around us change state from solid to liquid and form liquid to gas on supply of heat. But there are some substances that change directly from solid to solid state to gaseous state and vice versa without passing through the liquid state. Already we learnt in previous class, 6th class also. So, sublimation. What we have? We have read about sublimation, which is one such change. The sublimation definition is the substances directly from solid state to gaseous state without passing through the liquid state. Okay na? And gaseous state to and solid state. Gaseous state from solid state. So, solid state to gaseous state and vice versa without passing through the liquid state. This phenomena is called sublimation. Next, children, we can use another unit called Kelvin to measure temperature. So, we measure temperature in another unit is Kelvin. The melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius. 0 degrees Celsius in Celsius 0 degrees Celsius in Celsius units 0 degrees and in Kelvins means 273 Kelvins. So, and the point of water is 100 degrees Celsius or 273 plus 100 equal to 373 Kelvins. So, the boiling point of water is 373 Kelvin. So, in Celsius means 100 degrees Celsius. Next, the effect of change of pressure. We already know that various kinds of states are due to the difference in the substance between the constituent particles. So, what will happen when we apply pressure and compress a gas enclosed in a cylinder? Will the particles come closer? Do you think that increasing or decreasing the pressure can change the state of matter? Can we liquefy gases by applying pressure or reducing temperature? Recall that solid carbon dioxide from chapter combustion, fuel and flame for last class. In 8th class also we have to study it. Solid carbon dioxide is stored under high pressures. Solid carbon dioxide is stored under high pressure. Solid carbon dioxide converts directly into gaseous states when the pressure is decreased to 1 atmosphere. So, the solid carbon dioxide convert directly into gaseous states under the pressure. Due to this reason, solid carbon dioxide is also known as dry ice. So, solid carbon dioxide is also known as dry ice. Thus, we can say that pressure and temperature determine the state of substances, whether it will be solid, liquid or gas. That also we determine the states of substances. Next, let us use our understanding of particles, nature of matter to explain some day-to-day observations. First of all, evaporation. Do we always need to supply heat or change the pressure for changing the state of matter? Can the change of state from liquid to vapor take place without the liquid reaching its boiling point? You have experienced drying of wet clouds in air? Yes. In this process, water directly changes into water vapor from without reaching its boiling state. Isn't it, children? Yes. Without reaching its boiling point, the wet clouds directly changes into vapor. Can you give few more examples for this type of change, children? What could be the reasons for this type of changes in state? The particles of matter, irrespective of state at the given temperature, possess different energies. For example, in liquid, the particles at the surface possess higher energy than particles in the bulk of water. The particles on the surface are able to break away from the force of attraction of other particles and change into vapor state. This phenomenon of change of liquid into vapors at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. So, the change of a solid, the change of a liquid into vapors at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. Children, already in previous classes. Next, go to the activity effect of surface area, humidity, and wind speed on evaporation. First of all, take 5 ml of water each in a test tube and in a china dish separately and keep them under the fan. Take 5 ml of water in another china dish and keep it in the cupboard. So, one china dish keep in under the fan, in another china dish keep it in the cupboard. So, record room temperature and time taken for evaporation of water in all three cases. So, first of all, 5 ml of water take in one test tube. Another water, 5 ml of water take in china dish and keep in under the fan. And next 5 ml of water take in china dish and keep it in the cupboard. So, record your room temperature and time taken for evaporation of water in all three cases. If possible, repeat the activity on a rainy day and record your observation. In which case evaporation is fast, children? What do you infer about the effect of surface area and wind speed on evaporation? You must have noticed that the rate of evaporation in china dish is faster. You must have observation. What we must have observation, children? In three cases, the china dish faster. The rate of evaporation in china dish is faster. Since evaporation is a surface phenomena, during evaporation process, the particles escape from the surface of liquid. The increase in the surface area provides more scope for particles to escape from the surface. Hence, increases the rate of evaporation. So, the surface area is very large means the evaporation rate is increases. The surface area is very small means the evaporation rate will be decreases. That is the reason. Evaporation, the surface area is very large means evaporation process will be more. The surface area is very small means evaporation process will be slow. Humidity is another factor that affects evaporation. So, what is humidity? The amount of water vapor present in air is called humidity. The amount of water vapor present in air is called humidity. So, in winter season, the atmosphere totally having humidity. The amount of water vapor is mostly having in atmosphere in winter seasons. So that is called humidity. The air around us cannot hold more than a definite amount of water vapor at a given temperature. If the amount of water vapor is high in air, the rate of evaporation will decreases. So the amount of water vapor is high. Water vapor amount is very high means the rate of evaporation will decreases. So clouds dry slowly during rainy season. So clouds dry slowly rainy season. Because of the rainy season, water vapor percentage is very high. That's why evaporation process will be decreases. But fast on sunny and windy day. And sunny and windy day, the drying process is very fastly. Because of increase in wind speed, water vapor particles move away with the wind. Water vapor particles move away with the wind. Decrease the amount of water vapor in the surroundings. That's why the windy day and sunny day, the clouds dry very fastly than rainy day. Next, experience with evaporation. Why do you feel cooler after sweating? Yes, isn't it, children? All are human beings feeling cooler after sweating. When you get sweat on working or physical exercise, the sweat evaporates from surface of your body by observing the heat from your body. Yes, isn't it, children? Yes, the particles of liquid absorb energy required for evaporation from your body and escape to the surroundings. This make you to feel cool. That's why we are feeling to cool. The particles of liquid absorb energy required for evaporation from our body and escape to the surroundings. So that's why we are feeling to cool. Can you give some more examples from daily life where we can feel the effect of evaporation, children? Yes. So this is our third lesson, matter around us. The last session we are completed. Next video we will discuss the new session of next lesson. The fourth lesson is synthetic fibers and plastics. Okay, children. Thank you.